What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video on the channel. Now today, boys, is a very important video. We're going to be going through our custom tactics that I use for FIFA 20, and hopefully they can give you a bit of insight into how I play and what I'd use to get results like 28-2, like we did last weekend. That's a little graphic that we use over on our stream. And if you guys do want to follow us over on the stream, the link is down in the description below. You get to see all the weekend league gameplay and stuff like that and how the team works. But yeah, I recorded a video previously, just going over the custom tactics. I thought it was way too long, so what I'm going to do for you boys is I'm going to show you guys how the team works, what customs I use, how I play with it, and I'm going to try to give you a bit of detail, but if you have any further questions or anything, make sure to drop a comment down in the comment section below. I don't have time to go into all the decision choices, because I want to keep it short and sweet for you boys. So, anyway, boys, let's get into it. Let's see how we do, and hopefully you guys can find this informational. Now, the one thing I'll say before we get into anything is that custom tactics aren't the be-all and end-all. They won't make you an amazing player, and they won't make you a trash player. Basically, what customs do is they allow you to perfect how you play your game. So, what I would say is make sure you try to fit your customs to how you play your game. If you feel like you play somewhat like me, then maybe give some customs like my own a try. And then also on top of that, customs will only take you so far. So you should definitely work on improving your own gameplay mechanics and all that sort of stuff. So hitting the right shot types, defending well, not diving out, not being too aggressive, and perfecting all that sort of stuff. But anyway, boys, let's get into the custom tactics. Enough jibber jabber. Let's get straight into it now. I have 4 custom tactics I run normally. The standard one is the 4-2-3-1. It's a balance with 5 width and 4 depth. When it comes to width and depth, it just comes down to how much you want to press. I like to keep my width relatively simple, but my depth differs across different teams. So for my standard one, either 5 or 4 is normal. When you're coming to a more pressing tactic, I like to chuck up to 7 or 8, and yeah, that's usually what I do. Now, when it comes down to the offense, I think you'll see that this will be the stock standard for pretty much all my teams, and I just like what it does. I think balance has a good balance of showing for possession and then also making the run. Whereas I don't really like any of the other ones I've tried. Like, the other 3 just don't really do it for me. The other one I would say is maybe possession when you try to hold onto a game. And I do have a possession tactic. But besides that, that's what I use. Now, coming onto the formation, we use a 4-2-3-1, Ben Yedder at the striker, Mbappe at the cam position, Neymar and Saints Gucci headband at the wingers, and then De Jong and Hullet. And I'll say also, boys, I don't think I said this before, but you don't have to have the best players to run these sort of tactics. The most important ones I will say are De Jong and Hullet. They're so critical in the midfield, and I think if you have players like Blanc, like Sissoko, like Kante, like maybe in inform Frankie De Jong, they'll do the job for you 100%. But improving your midfield, I've learned this year personally, is so critical to good weekend league results, because they start and end your attacks. So you definitely want to have good midfielders. But for me personally, I think, what's it called? This is how I set my team up, and I think it's relatively well balanced. I don't really have any issues when it comes to, like, one person or one player being not the best for the team. So I think it's relatively well balanced. Now, coming into the tactics, I use getting behind so I can use those through balls on my striker. I have stay forward because I want Mbappe as an outlet pass. My 2 DMs are on stay back and cover center. Now, what you can do here, if you really want to, is you can also have cut passing lanes. What this will do is it will make sure that your player gets in between the defender and the ball, just so that way they automatically block. But I like to try and cut the passing lanes manually. I don't know why. That's the way I like to play. So I have stay back attacking and cover center. Now, cover center is also very important, because if you run your defender wide, like Ramos or Desai, my center backs, if you run them wide, that midfielder will cover that gap in the defense, and that's what I personally like. Now, on top of that, I also just have stay back attacking on my wing backs, and that's the reality of it. That's all it is. It's pretty simple. The way I like to play, at least that I feel I like to play, is I like to have my players just in place, and then I'll move them where I need to make to press, to slow down, and as long as they're in place and I know where they are, they should do a job. My wide cams have absolutely nothing on them. What you can also do if you really want to is get into the box for the cross. That means when you're running down the wing with, say, for example, Saint, Neymar will be running on the opposite wing, and he'll be there at the back post for that cross. So that's a really effective tactic if you really want to. But for me, balanced crossing runs has been pretty alright, and that's the reality of it. That's as simple as custom tactics to be. Now, moving forward, we have our attacking formation. This is our 4-4-2. Now, this is if you're down by 1 goal and you need to get back into a game. For me, I like to push up the depth, so the depth goes up to 7, so I can press into my opponent's half. Now, on top of that, what I like to have is a 4-4-2. Now, the reason why I do this is because in this game, how people like to see out the game is just holding possession a lot. And when you're on defense, what you need to do is you need to press the opponent. So having your wide players wider and having 2 players on their center backs means that they can pin in the defenders, so they can't really pass along the back line, so they have to kind of go forward. The other thing that's good with this tactic is also doing either what is called constant pressure, the constant pressure tactic, or what I like to do personally, because I like to have the ability to switch it on and off, is just going down and I believe left on the D-pad for team press. It's exactly the same thing. Basically what it does is it swarms your players, and it means there's less space for them to kind of work with. And having this in combination with the 4-4-2 is really, really, really nice. It means that if you want to play more attacking, you can do that. And if you need to go into a game where you want to score more goals, you can kind of use the constant pressure and push up to it. But anyway, boys, coming through to the player instructions for this, it's pretty much the exact same thing. I do like to have balanced attack on Hullet instead of stay back attacking, just because I like to have one of the midfielders going forward as well, just so I can create options. It's exactly the same stay back attacking cover center on De Jong. And then when it comes to the wing back, stay back attacking once again. Now this is where it changes up a bit. Your right mid and your left mid have 2 different tactics. Than compared to the wide cams. So for here personally, what I like to have is cut inside and get into the box with the cross. This means that they'll get a bit more narrow when it comes to you having the ball. When it comes to defensive support, I like to keep it on balance just because I don't like them tracking back all too much. I want them to be there for the outlet pass. But it just means you have a bit more of a narrow compactness when it comes to attacking the ball. And I have that on both of them, cut inside, get into the box of the cross. And then here's the important part. You want to stagger your striker and your left striker and your right striker. And you can choose whoever player you want to do this. Personally, I run Mbappe as my cam, so I have him as the false 9. But you have to have one, at least, in my opinion, on getting behind in false 9. It just staggers the attack. And what that allows you to do is allows you to break down in defense if they're not really controlling the back line, and it's kind of like a flat back 4. That's the way I like to think about it, at least. And yeah, so I have a false 9 and then getting behind in that. Now, if I want to hold out a game, boys, I switch to this tactic, and this is my possession tactic. It just means whenever there's this is on, it means that it comes back and it holds possession just a bit nicer. That means they'll show 4 more passes, but it means the build-up will take longer. But when you're getting pressed, sometimes you just need to have more people showing, and that's why I like to have. I also don't like to commit as many people forward, so the players in the box, the corners, and the free kicks are all diminished. And also the depth is a bit lower, just because you want to sit just a tad deeper, not too far deeper, but just a tad deeper, so therefore you're able to soak up a bit more of the pressure. Now the custom tactics are pretty much exactly the same. I don't have getting behind. I have balanced mixed attacks, so Benyard is able to show a bit more, so he's able to be there for the pass. I still have stay forward on my Mbappe, so he's there, he's sticking in position. As per usual, my DM stay back while attacking cover center, my wing back stay back while attacking. You guys know how it is now. And then my wide players, I also want them to come and show, so I have them on comeback on defense. And then just balance width as well as balance support. Now, the reason why you want to have that, the balanced width as well as the comeback on defense, is because 1, you want them to actually stay wide so you can spread the ball. But 2, you also want them to come closer so you're able to hit that pass easily. So that's how I personally prefer to use it. And I think it's pretty alright for a possession sort of tactic. And it does decently well. Now, this is the final one that I use, boys. The ultra attacking. And this is if you're down by 2 or 3 goals and you need to get back to the game. It's maybe the 70th minute and you're like, damn, I need to get some goals. Otherwise, I'm going to lose this FUT Champs game. I might lose. I might choke Elite 3 or Gold 1. And yeah, it might be a bit of a problem if you do that. Now, I'll say before we get into this, you need to be good defensively manually. Like you need to be able to control your players when you're using this, because if they are able to break you down, then you're gonna be in a bit of trouble if you don't know how to defend manually. But what I will say is that I know this is becoming more and more popular. Because I think people like Run the Foot Market are using it. I know some of the what's called the pros and competitive players in ANZ as well are trying to start to integrate into their setups. And for me personally, when I'm down in a game, I had a game last weekend that we were down 3-1 and in the 81st minute, and we won the game in regular time 4-3. It's an incredible press tactic, and yeah, we'll get into it straight away. But the formation is just, it works so well and it floods so many people forward. So it's very, very nice. So what we do is we run 7 depth. I chuck on team press in the D-pad tactics. You can, if you want to have it constantly like that, put constant pressure on. Sometimes you just see your players make a bit of a iffy run, and then you just want to quickly turn off team press. So that's why I personally do it like that. Now, the other thing that you can do if you're really, really struggling and you need to get them, what you can do is you can jump this players in the box, the corners, and the free kicks up. Personally, I don't love doing that because I like to do it manually. But if you need to do that, you can do that. The other thing you can also do is put on fast build-up, and what that will do is that will flood your players quicker forward. So if you're down in a game and it's like the last 10 minutes and you need a goal, that's maybe something that you want to do. You want to chuck those custom tactics on, and it should work well. But for me personally, I like to keep on balance, and if I need to change it, I'll change it manually. Coming into the actual formation, it's a bit of an odd formation, I will say so. But this is the way it runs. The center mids are basically Frankie de Jong and Mendy, and they play center mid like a normal 4-4-2 center mid. And then Neymar and Saints play your left mid and right mid like a 4-4-2 left mid and right mid. But you also have your 2 strikers as well as Hullet as a holding. Now, what this formation does with the tactics that I have, because you have the team press and all that sort of stuff, these guys kind of flood forward automatically. So you kind of have like 6 that push forward, and then it kind of comes to like a back 4 like wedge, if you will. And it works, I feel, very, very well. I have balanced attack cover center on both of them. Once again, I stagger my attackers, so I have getting behind and false 9 on the strikers. And you'll see the same sort of stuff here with the cut side getting to the box on the wide players, same as the 4-4-2. But the key one here is also getting behind. You want them to flood forward, so I personally have getting behind. And then coming to the back section of it all, I have stay back on attacking cover center, and then once again, we were talking about it before, cut passing lanes, just so I'm able to cut off any passing lanes. Because the thing is, right, cut passing lanes can be predictable, but when your opponent has to play fast because you're pressing them, they usually make predictable passes. They kind of just go off instinct. If your opponent's able to do better than that, then that's kudos to the opponent. But the average player won't be able to do that. And then also on top of that, stay back across the back 3. And that's basically it, boys. But I feel like that tactic, personally, for me, is a great one to get back into the game. So that's basically a summary of them all. I play the 4-2-3-1, the 4-2-3-1 wide, the 4-4-2, and the 3-1-4-2. And that's how we were able to get 28 last week using those 4 formations with this team, as well as numerous Elite 2s and Elite 1s over the past couple weeks. The 3-1-4-2 is a bit new to me because I'm trying to try it out because I've heard a lot of people trying to start to use it. But yeah, it's a great set of tactics. Hopefully it helps you out a bit. But once again, I preface this by saying it comes down to how you play. So try it out, test it out. If you don't like it, and make sure you go into like competitive rivals or something like that. If you don't enjoy how the custom tactics run, change it up a bit, change up the style, maybe try some other custom tactics out and see how you go. But anyway, boys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I kept it short enough so it's like in a nice little compact bundle of information. But that's basically how I run my FIFA. But guys, if you haven't already, in the description there'll be a link to our Twitch channel. Go follow us over there. You'll see how the gameplay, how we play with this team with those custom tactics, and hopefully should be very useful for you. But anyway, boys, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you drop a big old thumbs up. Drop a subscribe down below. Leave a comment. Let me know if they work for you, these customs. What customs you play. If you like to try something different. Or if you have any recommendations. Like, for example, if you run like a 3-5-2 as your default formation. Let me know what you think about it. And let me know how you run with it. I think the main point about this video is just to help everyone and see how it all goes. Especially in a time like this with Team of the Season. When we've got big rewards on the line. You guys want to be finishing the best results that you can. But anyway, boys, thank you guys for an amazing video today. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the love and support on the channel, as always. And yeah, we'll see you guys in another video, boys. But anyway, take care, peace, have a good one, and we'll see you guys next time.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul, I'll be there. Never leaving you in the darkness, even when you're out of focus. I will be the light in your life, you'll see it clear. I'll be your inspiration.